Week 8 of the CAA football season is here, and we're back in the studio for another episode of 3 Things to Watch. I'm Carly Smith here with the one and only Rob Washburn. Rob, as we get into the later portion of the schedule, winning is crucial, and for the first time this season, all 7 games on the schedule will be conference games, so that surely ups the ante. Now, our first thing to watch takes us to Rhodes Stadium as Elon plays host to Monmouth. Monmouth, who's 2-1 in conference play, is coming off of a convincing 61-10 win over Hampton. In that game, the CAA's leading rusher, Jaden Sheridan, set yet another career high with 4 touchdowns and 276 yards. Rob, speaking of upped antes, Monmouth's next 4 out of 5 opponents are against teams who currently are or have been nationally ranked, one of those being Elon, who's entering the new week after a setback to Villanova. The Phoenix are 3-1 in league play, and as Coach Trisciani told us, it's all about the response from his team right now. How do they bounce back? They're a win 1 game a week operation, and so when the process is tested, how resilient can these guys be? Rob, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, Carly, as always, the CAA race is extremely competitive with 6 teams with 1 loss stacked up behind first place Delaware, making this game very important. Monmouth has been dominant in its past 2 games, outscoring Lehigh and Hampton by a combined score of 110-17. The Hawks have excelled in all phases, averaging over 500 yards with a balanced offensive attack led by Jaden Sheridan, while their defense has held opponents to less than 240 yards. Now we have to see whether they can maintain that momentum on the road against an Elon squad that's won 8 of its last 9 at Rhodes Stadium. It's been a tough couple of weeks for the Phoenix, but we saw what they're capable of during a 3-game CAA winning streak that included a victory over William & Mary. Offensively, Elon has run for just 135 total yards over the past 2 weeks, with standout back Jalen Hampton limited to 32 yards in those games. Meanwhile, a defense that was giving up just 89 yards a game on the ground through the first 4 weeks is allowing 318 yards over the last 3 games. Keep an eye on the rushing numbers on Saturday, because the team that can best establish the run on offense and stop the run on defense will likely come out on top.
Let's hear from Monmouth's Kevin Callahan and Elon's Tony Trisciani on the upcoming battle.
Our next 5 games, I think 4 of the teams are nationally ranked. So it's a number of games here in a row that we're going to be at our best. We have to be at our best, and the only one that matters is the next one right now. And we're doing everything we can to come up with a plan to hopefully slow Elon down.
McCray he's a veteran quarterback. I mean, he's new to Monmouth, but he's played in a lot of football games, and he's got one of the best running backs in the country in Jaden Sheridan, who, if he gets to the second level and makes somebody miss, I mean, you're not catching him. He's dangerous. He's gone. And one of the best wide receivers and most productive wide receivers in Dymere Miller, really, in FCS football. So he's got a really good football team there.
2 p.m. kickoff, you know the drill. Make sure you tune in on Flow Football. Now on to our second thing to watch. 2 teams coming off of the bye week, Towson and William & Mary. The Tribe are 2-1 in the conference and got much needed rest physically and mentally after a hard-fought loss against Virginia in week 6. Coach London told us the team was able to make some corrections, get healthier, and lean on their veterans for a positive mindset as they attack the thick of conference play. Towson is 1-2 in the CAA, and this is a team who has bought into the new coaching staff led by Pete Chinnick. It's a group that's getting better each week. They're resilient. We saw that in their 2 overtime wins. And as Coach told us, if you look at the fourth quarter of each of their losses, the Tigers have never been out of a game. So Rob, how do you think this one will unfold?
Yeah, Carly, as you mentioned, both of these teams are coming off bye weeks that came in the middle of the year, providing a reset and a chance to gear up for that final 5-game push to achieve their goals. For William & Mary, the goal has been clear since day one: repeat as CAA champions and make a deep run in the FCS playoffs to erase the memories of last year's quarterfinal loss. The Tribe sprinted out to a 4-0 start but dropped a pair of close games and needs to regain its momentum. The elements for success are there: the top-ranked defense in FCS and a powerful rushing attack, but they could use a boost in the passing game while turning field goals into touchdowns. Now for Towson in year 1 under Coach Pete Chinnick, the goal is to establish a winning culture that he brought from a national championship program at West Florida. All 5 of the Tigers' FCS contests have been 1-score games in the fourth quarter, so they've been extremely competitive, but the results have been mixed, with impressive road wins at New Hampshire and Morgan State, but 3 losses at home. Towson has improved offensively under quarterback Nathan Kent, and the Tigers' defense has recorded 17 sacks, so there's plenty there to build on. William & Mary's won 6 straight at home. Towson's won both of its FCS games on the road. We'll see on Saturday which team can continue their streak and start the second half off in the right direction.
As Coach Shinnick said, every yard and every inch will have to be earned. Let's hear more from William & Mary's Mike London and Towson's Pete Shinnick prior to kickoff.
They do a good job of impacting and affecting your ability to defend, the width of the field and the length of the field. And they're close in some games. And I know coaches got them moving in the right direction. So we're going to have to play, tough, aggressive, do the things that we're capable of doing, and to be highly competitive because they're good teams.
They're going to make you work for every inch, every yard that you get, because they're going to be in the right spot. And then obviously their D-line is dynamic, and, two of the top sack performers in the conference and in the country. So we've definitely got our work cut out for us. And to be able to move the ball against them, you got to be methodical. You got to be patient.
Make sure to watch this one. Kickoff is at 3:30 p.m. in Williamsburg, Virginia on Cox Your View and Flow Football. All right, finally, our third thing to watch features 2 top 25 caliber teams that match up extremely well. UAlbany, who's 2-1 in league play, hosts Rhode Island, who's 2-2 in the CAA at Bob Ford Field. The Great Danes have spent the last 5 of 7 games on the road, and they're coming off of a 38-31 loss to UNH. Rhode Island's also coming off of a setback to Richmond, which Coach Fleming told us didn't leave a good taste in their mouth, but he said sometimes, that frustration is a gift, and his guys can use that to perform at a high level this week. A tall task is in store for both programs. Rob, what's your breakdown?
Carly, you've laid it out perfectly. These are 2 talented, physical, playoff caliber teams that are coming off tough 7-point losses last week and feel like they need to win to maintain a path toward the postseason. Both teams' offenses revolve around talented quarterbacks with strong arms and the ability to run when necessary. Rhode Island's Kasim Hill is tied for 6th in FCS with 15 touchdown passes. He's thrown for over 200 yards in 6 games, and he's also run for 3 touchdowns this season. UAlbany's Reese Poffenbarger is tied for 3rd in FCS with 16 touchdown passes, has thrown for over 200 yards 4 times, and has a team-high 3 rushing TDs. Those numbers speak to just how valuable these guys are to their team's success. However, both Jim Fleming and Greg Gattuso are defensive coaches who know the best way to slow down a prolific passer was with constant pressure. In the losses last week, both Hill and Poffenbarger faced a lot of it and were sacked 5 times apiece. On Saturday, the team that can keep the pocket clean and allow their star quarterbacks to work will have a great chance to come out on top.
That's good. Let's hear what Rhode Island's Jim Fleming and UAlbany's Greg Gattuso had to say prior to the matchup.
He's got 4 monsters up front. They got 23 sacks on the season. They pressure the quarterback. I know that's going to be the intent that he has, because we kind of share the same thing. Punish the playmakers is the idea of the game. And, but those 4 guys up front are good. They've got a good second level, and the third level's coming along quite well too. So it's a very, very good football team. And like I said, we like to think we're very good too. So you're going to get another good football game. We just want to make sure we play our best.
Like I teach my defensive line, it's good, clean hits on quarterbacks. I think we've got to be able to get him off his game. We've got to pressure him. He's been around so long. You're not going to obviously intimidate him or anything. He's been through the wars. He's a really good quarterback. He's been in the system for a long time. But we got to get him uncomfortable. And the first step is by being physical and winning some battles in the pass rush.
Catch this one at 3:30 p.m. on Flow Football. Now, as I mentioned earlier, it's all CAA play this week. So many great matchups coming your way in addition to our 3 things to watch. Let's take a look at the slate. North Carolina A&T hosts Richmond to start off the day. Hampton hosts a Delaware squad that remains undefeated and in sole possession of first place in the conference. Stony Brook welcomes New Hampshire on Long Island. And finally, heading back down south, Campbell will host Maine and close out this CAA football Saturday. For results, recaps, and much more, visit CAAfootball.com and follow along on our social media platforms at CAA Football. Enjoy the week.